This week on the Computer Chronicles, a guide to MP3, music on the net. We'll go over the basics of MP3 music files, where to find them and what you can do with them. We'll look at new web radio stations that offer digital music for almost every music taste. We'll show you the latest MP3 portable players so you can take your music with you, and the ins and outs of burning your own music CDs. Plus, my pick of the week, a really cool new solution for adding almost limitless storage to your computer. It's the secrets of MP3, this week on the Computer Chronicles. Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by PC to PC, the online computer migration service from PC First, moving files, applications, and preferences from your old computer to your new one. Additional support is provided by Upside Events, presenting the Digital Lifestyle Revolution Conference, where people and technology intersect. Hi, I'm Stewart Cheifet. Welcome to the Computer Chronicles, the launch, in fact, of our 18th season on the air as we close in on our 900th program. What's amazing is that after 17 years of doing this, it's still not dull, and every week there is cool new technology to talk about, like digital music. From MP3.com to Napster or Scour or Songspy.com, the digital revolution has certainly changed the music business forever. And this week, we want to show you how to get the most out of the digital music phenomenon. First of all, kind of the basics of MP3 from a man who ought to know. He is the author of this book, MP3 for Dummies, Andy Rathbone. And Andy, I know a lot of our viewers are very much into this, and they're ripping their CDs and burning their CDs right now, but a lot of people don't really know the details of this. We'll get into some of the more complicated stuff a little bit later in the show. Right now, let's review the basics. What's the big deal about an MP3 file?
Well, the big deal is that for the first time, computer technology is letting people store music on their computers. That could never be done before because the music files were so big, but MP3 lets people compress those files into something that's small enough to store on the computer and download from the internet.
So it's digital music, so you can play it on your computer, and compressed so it's manageable, right?
Exactly.
All right, now where do you find MP3 files? You go on the web and you do what?
You go on the web and you can download them, or you can create them from your own CDs.
All right, so if you want to find MP3s on the web, where do you go, and how do you know sort of what's legal to do and what's not legal to do?
Well, one of the places where there's really no question about the legality is MP3.com, where people, MP3.com.
Yes, that's a site we have up right now.
Where the artists have uploaded their own material. They want people to listen to it for promotional reasons.
So are you searching just the MP3.com site here, or can you go out and search the whole web for MP3s?
You can search the whole web, but at MP3.com, you know you're listening to stuff that the artists want you to hear.
So you're not stealing anybody's music if you're going through MP3.com. Well,
Yes.
just run through this. I mean, if we want to look for, I don't know, a Louis Armstrong song or something.
Well, we'd head to jazz, and it brings up the jazz tunes that it has. And Louis Armstrong is one of the big ones to be downloaded.
Would think, yeah. So, I mean, no big deal. The same kind of search you might do for anything else. You just happen to be searching
Yeah,
for
let's go to
file.
traditional jazz. And there he is, number one under traditional
And this is
traditional
legal.
jazz.
I could pull that down.
Exactly.
No big deal.
Whoever owns the rights to that Louis
Got it.
Armstrong song has uploaded
And there are hundreds of thousands of titles out there at least, right?
Yeah.
All right, now, so I've got these files now. Do you need something special in terms of a download, a piece of software to actually play these MP3s on your computer?
Well, Windows 98 and Windows Me both come with the Windows Media Player, which can play MP3 songs.
Okay.
So you really don't need to download anything else to get basic level playing of your MP3.
Got it. Now, let me ask you about this issue. You know, people are getting sued all over the place, and some people feel it's cheating and stealing to download some of these other MP3s. Let's talk about Napster for a second. And go to the Napster site, if you would,
Sure.
and just explain what the whole Napster thing is about.
Well, Napster is a search engine, but it's where people are uploading songs that they just rip off their own CDs.
So it's
to make
my
copies.
songs I may want to let you have access to.
Yeah, well, let's say somebody goes out and buys Elvis Costello's latest CD, and they like it a lot, and they copy it onto their computer, and then they upload, or they let people upload or download those songs.
Well, let's show how Napster works. I mean, suppose I wanted to pick something off on Napster. Suppose I was looking for that. You pick a song.
Well, I just typed in the Beatles here, and then clicked
Find.
Find
There's a lot of Beatles
And
choices.
here are the Beatles songs.
I mean, the fact is, there's a couple million titles up there now on Napster.
Well, right now there's currently about 1.25 million songs available.
Okay, but again, this is not sitting anywhere on a central server, right? These are people who sort of have these on their computer somewhere and are willing to share them.
Exactly. And what Napster does is when you log on, then Napster will look on your hard drive to see what files you want to share, and then it puts them on its main database of all the files everybody else wants to share, and then everybody just kind of swaps.
And if I want to grab one of those Beatles songs and put it on my hard drive, it's just sort of a click, right?
Just grab it. Yeah.
Oh, and there it goes. I now have it.
Day in the life. And it's getting the information, and it's going to start to download.
And the quality is pretty damn good.
It is good. It can be slow if you have a slow modem, but if you have a cable modem or DSL.
Now, real quickly, just a couple other points. People hear about Nutella as opposed to Napster. Explain what Nutella is.
Well, Nutella doesn't have that.
G-N-U-T-E-L-L-A.
Yeah, and it is new. And some people say it'll be the replacement for Napster because of the legal issues they've been running into with the record companies. Nutella works differently in that it doesn't have that central database of where all the files are stored. Instead, when you want to get a file, your computer will tell other computers to search for that file.
So nobody is shut down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's slower and it's a little harder to use, so it hasn't quite grown in popularity as
real quick. What's your view on the whole morality legality issue here? Do you feel bad about pulling a song off Napster?
Well, if the song is up there for promotional purposes, the record company wanted something to be shared, that's fine. But as a writer, I
you don't want somebody to rip off your books.
Exactly. Or I'd stop writing books because I couldn't feed my family.
All right, thanks a lot, Andy.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, perhaps the best thing about all these MP3s is the fact that you can now create your own music CDs, just the cuts you want to hear. There are a couple of tricks to doing this right now, and here to guide us is Elliot Van Buskirk, who is senior editor for CNET.com's Music Center. How you doing?
How you doing?
Okay, so we've downloaded all these files. We've got a bunch of MP3s around. I want to burn them into a CD because I want to carry it around with me in my portable player. Let's go through the basic process of doing that. And I guess, first of all, we have to be clear there's really two different kinds of CDs you can burn, right?
Exactly. There's one kind of CD, which is the kind of CD you buy in a store. This is called a Redbook Audio CD.
Music.
And that's just music that can be played by your car CD player, your portable CD player, any CD player you have.
Okay.
And we're going to do that one first. The other kind is a data CD made of just MP3 files. And someone would use that more for archiving. I mean, once you start getting into Napster and all of that, you can run out of hard drive space like really, really quickly. So this way you can put 650 megs of these MP3s onto a CD like this, and pop it in your drive, play those CDs, play those MP3s whenever you want, delete them off your computer, and save a lot of space.
All right, so let's go through the process right now. I've got a bunch of MP3s on my hard disk right now. I don't want to carry on my laptop. I want to burn them on a CD.
Right.
What do I do? What software do I use? What's the process for doing it?
It used to be that you had to turn the MP3s into WAV files, that is, decompress them to their original size so that they could go onto CD.
We're talking about the music CD now.
Exactly, the music CD. Today's MP3 or today's CD burning software has become adept at transferring that file.
So you've got a laptop with a CD writer in here.
Right. All I've got is a CDR drive, a CDR
Blank
right here.
CD.
Just pop that in.
Boom and go.
And we're going to make an audio CD.
So tell us about the software we're using.
This is Easy CD Creator Pro, which for Windows is pretty much the leading
sort of
app.
Standard now,
It's becoming the de facto standard, absolutely. But it all works the same with all of this.
Okay,
I mean, this
so
is a very
how you
simple
do it.
process. So I select Audio CD. This is important. To get the one that will play in a normal stereo,
so if you want to put it in your
select
car,
data
you
CD.
need this one.
Exactly, exactly. So here's my MP3 files called
Okay,
MP3
so they're all the files
files
on your hard drive.
Here's what I've got here. So I'm just going to select all of these.
It's just a drag and drop and say, hey, put it on the CD.
Exactly. And these are MP3s. These are just right off the internet.
Got it.
I didn't do anything special to these. This just goes right in like that.
Now, what's happening at the bottom here? It's kind of interesting. We're seeing sort of how much time you have on there.
650 megs of space gives you about 74 minutes of audio. So what this is showing us is how much each song is taking up. And we've still got a lot of space. We could put probably all of these twice on here if we wanted, but we're not going to do that. So.
And the quality you're going to get here is pretty good quality,
It's good quality, but it's only as good as the MP3 was. Information
place,
has been lost. This will not sound as good as a store-bought CD. So if you're buying stuff, if you're thinking about getting away for Christmas with giving people CDs made like this, they're not going to sound as good.
Yeah, because you've had compression in the process.
Exactly. You can't get something for free.
All right, so let's go to the other type now. Suppose I want to do the data CD. First of all, why would I want to do that as opposed to the straight music CD?
This is the main reason is if you're running out of hard drive space. These things take up about a minute per megabyte, I think. So you run out really fast once you get a real Napster
All right, so you want a big collection of all your stuff. You're going to put it in the data CD.
Right, and you can archive these into a data CD. You can also give those to other people. I mean, legality aside, this is a great way. You don't have to worry about bandwidth. You're like, I got these great MP3s. Here they are.
Everybody can play. All right, now same process, I take it?
Right, so what we do is...
And same software?
Same software, right. And this is really similar no matter what you're using. So I select data CD. I don't want to save that.
Okay.
And I do the same thing. I get all of my MP3s. And I could be doing this with 150 MP3s if I wanted to, but for purposes of demonstration.
And this is going to take less space.
Right.
Before,
this, as you can see, the bar at the bottom here.
So now we're in megabytes,
right here.
not time.
Right. So I'm going to say create CD. The important thing about this is the write speed. If you're making the other kind of CD, which is the audio CD, some older CD players can get very finicky about what they'll play and what they won't play. So you want to, if you run into trouble, try burning at a slower speed, 2x or even 1x, and that way the laser stays pointed at the CD for a longer time. Right, it's going to really get the groove in there. So, and then advanced features. With an audio CD, you want to close the session every time after you're done.
Okay, so we don't have time for the whole process, but you burned one just a little bit before. So why don't you pop in a finished one?
Right, so I made this minutes ago here. And we just pop this in here.
And you're your own record company now.
That's right. Exactly.
And boom, go running in there, play it.
This is my normal thing.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get some tunes to come out of here. CD player. So this could be a normal stereo right here. There's
sure, it doesn't
special
have to be the
about
computer,
this.
right?
Exactly.
You just run a CD player on the computer.
Go. Exactly.
Play the track and go.
There we are. Let's see. Oh, now I'm fumbling.
Right there.
Not used to this kind of a mouse here.
Yeah, everybody struggles with that.
There we go.
There we go, my music.
There it is. Beautiful.
All right. Last question before we wrap up here again. I just talked to Andy about this sort of morality issue.
Okay.
In the Napster world, I mean, these folks do it, right?
Right.
I mean, do you think it's a terrible thing to pull down a file from Napster and then burn it?
I personally do not think that it's a bad thing. I mean, the law is very hazy on this. You can make a copy for a friend under the DMCA, and that's perfectly legal. Just one copy. The thing is, the scale is what they're complaining about. And legally, I don't even know if there's a real basis for stopping people from doing this. I mean, other than changing the law. And I feel like people who are worried about ripping off their favorite artists, with the deals they get, they actually make a lot more money on touring and merchandising. I mean, unless you're an established,
right?
I mean, people go in the hole to record labels very badly on this stuff. So
real quick, Elliot, people talk about shutting down Napster or the Napster as we know it right now or knew it in the past. What happens in that event? I mean, it's just going to happen again, right?
Right, it'll happen again. I mean, there's this. This is how it is now, and I think that the Bertelsmann deal is actually a good idea because they're starting to accept that this is something that will happen. Exactly, exactly. Whether they do it or not. So.
Elliot, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, a look at the newest portable MP3 players and a guide to internet radio stations. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Since the first Rio portable MP3 player came out a few years ago, there have been several newer generations of MP3 players with, of course, better quality and more capacity. Here to show us the latest in MP3 hardware is Larry Maggett, syndicated technology columnist for the LA Times and computer consultant for CBS News. Larry, you have an all MP3 store here in front of you, and there are a lot of cool gadgets out there. Let's start with this guy, which is actually the newest version of the Rio, which was the very first one that came out.
And
so let me get it up here so folks can see this one.
They've revised this a couple times. This particular one, of course, it's prettier and it fits nicely in your hand.
Right.
But if you turn it around, you'll notice that the back comes out.
Okay,
and that's
so what's cool, and
yeah.
let's get a shot of this so people can see this here. You actually slide this off, and what they've done is that's actually the storage? Is that
right? Expansion, expandability. It has 32 megabytes.
So I can buy a new back with more songs in it.
Right now, you can record about an hour as it comes out of the box, but you'll be able to upgrade it down the road. Kind of like handspring. You know how the visor?
Right. That's
upgrade this.
Okay, so that's the new version of the Rio. Cool idea. Now, speaking of being able to add storage, that's where you get into this iOmega one.
iOmega, which makes the zip drive, also makes this little pocket zip, which they use in digital cameras and a lot of other things. Well, they decided to come up with an audio player with a little thing you open up.
Let me grab that again so we make sure we get a shot and show folks what we're talking about here. There's actually a slot for that iOmega drive that goes in there.
And it's a little mini hard drive.
Right.
Now we got 40 megabytes, a little more than an hour. These discs are only $10 each.
Wow.
So you just buy as many as you
So
need.
you can carry tons of music around in your jacket pocket.
Absolutely.
You know, and you got the
and if you
done
get
deal.
bored, you can erase it and come up with more music.
Okay. Now, this is a similar approach, but kind of very, very sleek little device. That's the Rave MP. Tell us about that one.
Well, what I like about this, first of all, in terms of storage, it takes smart media cards.
Okay, let me try to get that out here, too, so everybody can see.
plug
Let me
out.
pull the
Got one in
speaker
here.
out if we can.
Yeah.
Just take a look. That is very sleek looking. And, yeah, you were talking about this little slot over here again, which takes extra storage.
Right, so you can buy media, you can buy the memory cards.
Right.
The other thing I like about it is it's got an FM radio.
Built-in radio.
And you can use it to take memos. There's a little switch on the side.
Digital voice recorder.
Absolutely. So it's an all-purpose tool, good for a business person who travels and wants music, that wants radio, and wants to be able to take some notes.
Right, so again, instead of the separate digital recorder, the separate little radio, the separate MP3 player, you got them all here. And it's got, of course, this little remote control guy, I guess, so you don't have to fidget around with the tiny buttons on there and actually play with
And of course, you get the headphones that attach to
the usual bit.
Right.
All right, now that's a different looking one over there from Nike.
As you know, Stuart, I'm a sprinter.
Yeah, right.
You don't believe. I thought
So if you were a runner, Larry,
if I were a runner,
you would put that one on your arm.
I'm a cyclist. Maybe I'll try this out. I put this on my arm.
Okay, so
and
the
then
MP3 player for the athlete, the guy on the go.
Exactly, and it's made by Nike, so it's actually a good thing. I'd hold this in my hand, or I guess I'd set this, and this is the remote control.
Right, yeah, let me grab that out here again so we can get a. This is very cool. If we can actually get this thing working.
And by the way, it'll tell you the name of the song it's playing.
Yeah, so this is actually a little device you'd put on your belt or maybe carried on your wrist or something. You can actually see the name of the title going by there, and as you can see, you got the track number and all the usual stuff you'd see on a sort of LCD readout and all that kind of feedback you'd want from your player.
And what's nice about MP3 is it's solid state, so it doesn't matter that you're jogging, bouncing up and down.
So it's not like carrying around a CD player or even a tape deck.
No skipping at all.
All right, what's next?
Now, speaking of CD, this is as big as a CD player, but this one has a hard drive in it.
So it looks like a CD player, but it's not a CD player.
And it has hundreds of hours of music. You could travel across the United States and back.
6 gigs of storage.
Incredible.
Right?
So, I mean, I don't know if there is that much music. Of course there is. But you can have hundreds of songs on here, thousands, I suppose, your entire music collection, and listen to it forever. So it's bigger. That's the downside.
All right. So if you don't care about small form factor, just lots of capacity, that's the one. All right, finally, this is actually a PDA, which also doubles as an MP3 player.
Now, the executive who wants to have their PDA and also wants to have their music can buy this device, and it's got an MP3 player
so that's the compact iPack.
This is the compact.
Let's listen. Has a speaker built in, which is nice, which none of these have.
And Stuart, this is the tool for executives.
No, I got the tool for executives. This is my MP3 player. It's on my wrist right here. I want to take it off. There it is right here. This is my MP3 watch from Casio.
MP3 watch.
I'm not kidding. I'm going to rip this thing off real quick so we can take a look at this and show everybody what this is. Okay, here it is. This is a watch, full watch, does all the things, tells you the time, stopwatch, alarms, etc. But it is an MP3 player. It has an hour's worth of capacity in here, 4-hour rechargeable battery. If you want to listen, let's stay on that shot if we can, and you just click in your little headset gadget over there. And I've got my little earbuds over here to listen to the music. It sits in a cradle, and of course you can download the music from your computer just as you would with any other MP3 player. It is very, very cool. The smallest, most portable MP3 player of all, and it tells the time.
And it tells the time.
Yeah. Now, what's going to be next? I mean, I know we have the cell phone with the MP3 player in it.
Right. I mean, well, the car MP3 player, those are already coming. So
right.
you have it in the car. You know, there's just going to be, MP3 is going to explode. I mean, this, and of course the CD, the MP3 CD, so you could have hundreds of hours, thousands of discs.
Right, as we saw before.
And then the next thing, I think the music industry may actually start selling MP3 CDs when that
well, I don't think
becomes
there's any question about it.
And then you've got a really total sea change.
Big choice of players. It depends on what you want, right? If you're going to be a jogger, you do that.
And of course, we're going to see them, you know, stereo size in the living room. We'll see all sorts of form factors. Absolutely.
All right, great. Thanks a lot, Larry. Well, downloading MP3 files to your portable MP3 player is one way to get music off the net. Another way is to just listen to the thousands of new web radio stations that are playing every kind of music format you could imagine. And our guide to internet radio stations is Benny Evangelista, staff writer for the San Francisco Chronicle. Hi, Benny. So literally there are thousands of stations broadcasting on the web, so you don't really have to listen to an old-fashioned radio station anymore, do you?
Well, by one count, there's 4,300 different internet radio stations out there.
Well, all different formats.
All different formats. Half of them are regular stations. They're streaming their signal on the air. About 10% of them are net-only stations that have a wide variety of
Well,
content.
that's still 400 or something, right?
Something
Now,
like
the issue is kind of like cable TV. When you have 500 channels, you've got 4,000 radio stations. How do you find the station you want on the web?
Well, you can go to one of these portals that kind of sort it out for you, like iCast here.
iCast.com. So this will guide you to the radio station, the music format you want?
To a format, and within their own setup. There's different ways to find it. You can always do a search. But here is an example of what kind of content they have.
Okay. So we see Latin, hip-hop, rock, blah, blah. So if you wanted Latin music.
If you're in the mood for salsa all of a sudden, say you're at work, you know, and you click on there.
So I can find a web radio station that does salsa only.
And it would be, it just does salsa, yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
I mean, who needs Napster, right? I mean, like all these guys give me this music legitimately that I can listen to anytime I want.
Well, that's one of the things. With all the attention drawn to internet music by Napster, there's actually studies that show that there are more people listening to internet radio than are downloading songs off the Napster.
Well, why not? Let's go back to that menu a second and just try another one, because, I mean, the choice is unbelievable there. I mean, suppose we're going to say rock, for example. There's all kinds of rock.
You can get about as esoteric as you want.
Or reggae?
Under reggae, here's
what is New Jaw City?
I don't know. But if you want to discover
let's hear it. Let's see what New Jaw
City is. Go to New Jaw City.
Okay.
I think we can bring that up here.
Got to change channels here somehow?
Oh, we still got the salsa coming up here, but let me get that.
Okay. So this is the catch with listening to a radio station on the web. It's not. You got to stop that one and pull up your new station, I guess, huh? There we go. So we'll go to New Jaw City. And what happens now? Should it just come up?
It should just come up. It did before.
Okay, here we go. No, we're back to salsa.
Back to salsa. Like. Yeah.
Anyhow, we get the idea. You just have to figure this stuff out, huh?
Yeah. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Now this is another site. Go to another site just popped up there. This is live365.com. What is this?
Live365 is one of the more popular ones out there. It has 21,000 stations online.
This one site actually has 21,000 different music formats in there?
Different people who it could be somebody just alone in their bedroom.
My radio station, me
your
singing.
own radio station. Right? It could be, well, I don't know if we want you singing, we don't want me singing there, but anything you wanted to do. You could be talking out there.
I see, for example, you have number 3 up there, which is what the Rick James 24/7 radio station?
That actually is Rick James himself, the king of funk. All Rick all the time. If you 3 o'clock in the morning, you got a hankering to hear Rick James, you go on here and you hear Rick James.
This really redefines radio. It redefines everything about music. It's not like you have to buy the CD. You're not going to listen to a radio station. You can go to a radio station and just plays that collection of CDs you might want. Yeah,
I mean, whatever you want to hear. It's also talk. There's sports. One of the things that got me interested in it was being able to pull up a sports broadcast from a station that was 3,000 miles away. A station in Washington, D.C., WTOP, has started a separate internet channel aimed at just government workers in their offices.
So you can really narrow cut. You have one example, kpig.com, which was a traditional broadcast radio station, which actually said, hey, this is a better business being a web radio station.
Indeed. They had a low wattage outlet in Santa Cruz,
California.
Little
local stations, not global.
And now they've been able to get to thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of listeners, potential listeners on the web, all from the little station in Santa Cruz. And that's one of the things that, again, it's the power of the web.
Right. Now, the only problem, the big problem, as we just saw a little bit with listening to web radio stations, is you got to be on your computer. And the Windows is going to crash or it's not going to work right. Let's talk about this little gadget, which is the newest, coolest thing in web radio. This actually literally is a web radio, right? I can listen to these internet radio stations on my little radio, and we're not kidding here. There's no wires. This is just a wireless, like a radio. And this is how I tune the stations?
Well, these are one of 2 wireless internet radios that are coming out on the market. The other ones are Cabango. It doesn't totally take you away from your PC. You still have to connect something to the PC.
Okay, so that is this thing over here, and let's just explain what this thing does.
It sends out a radio frequency to this device here.
So this is what I would plug into the PC.
Right.
USB port.
And you'd be able to control your select your radio stations here, you can even play MP3s by remote. You can be sitting on your couch across the room from your computer.
Okay. So I plug this thing into my PC. It's now transmitting throughout my house. I just then need my little Sonic Box radio here.
Right.
Well, and can I remote control the website over here? With
you
these
can.
buttons?
You can select it, and you can blast it through your stereo system if you want.
Well, no, that is really cool. But I take it it's limited to relatively small space inside my house.
Yeah, it's mainly for your house.
Is this the future, this kind of thing?
There's something even further coming down the line.
Yeah.
There's 2 services coming out in the year 2001 that will be offering satellite radio, which basically takes everything you got on the internet and puts on a satellite beam, and you can be in your car.
Sure. So the principles of satellite, the principles of internet radio, but beamed by satellite, so you can get anywhere. You don't need this kind of combination.
Right. So the whole idea of this celestial jukebox, that you have this vast store of music, of talk, of everything that you can access anytime, anywhere you want.
Music business will never be the same.
Thank
you, Benny. All right, that's our look at MP3 and music on the net. Don't go away. I'll be back in just a minute with my pick of the week, a great storage solution for the MP3 collector or the desktop video editor. Now for my pick of the week. If you're into downloading lots of MP3 files, you are facing storage issues, where to put all this stuff. And if you're thinking about doing digital video editing on your computer, you really have to think about expanding your disk storage. Just 30 minutes of video could take up more than 10 gigabytes of space. Well, now there is a very slick and relatively inexpensive new solution from hard drive maker Maxtor. This is it. It is an 80-gig hard drive. It's plug and play, so you just plug it into your desktop or your laptop computer. There's one catch because of the high throughput needed for rich media like video and audio. The Maxtor drive only connects through an IEEE 1394 port, also known as iLink or FireWire, but not to worry. It comes bundled with this 1394 adapter. It comes either as this PCI card or as a PC card for your laptop. That one's coming out very soon. In case you need the numbers on this, by the way, 80 gigs of storage can get you about 80 hours of compressed digital video or 6 hours of uncompressed DV video. The data transfer rate through the 1394 port is up to 30 times faster than just using USB. If you care more about storing digital photos, by the way, the Maxtor drive will handle about 8,000 3-megapixel resolution photos, and if it's MP3s you want to store, this drive will hold about 20,000 songs. That's the equivalent of listening to music nonstop for 2 months. The whole package will cost you less than $400. You can daisy chain up to 60 of these babies for 5 terabytes of storage. That's it for this week's Computer Chronicles. Thanks for joining us. If you have any questions about anything you saw on the show this week, just check out our website, computerchronicles.org. Thanks for being here. Hope to see you again next week. Computer Chronicles is made possible in part by PC to PC, the online computer migration service from PC First, moving files, applications, and preferences from your old computer to your new one. Additional support is provided by Upside Events, presenting the Digital Lifestyle Revolution Conference, where people and technology intersect.
To purchase a videotape copy of today's program, call toll-free 1-888-310-7850. Please specify the show number and the topic.